Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're just going to be starting in the next few minutes. So settle in for a great cooking demo today.
Jai Jinendra, and good afternoon. And I hope you're all keeping well and enjoying the sunshine today after a week of rain. Today, the Oshwal Cooking Club brings to you a live demonstration of baking with kids presented by Raki and her children. They will be making a chocolate brownie with a twist. It's all healthy. Ingredients are on the Oshwal website at oshwal.org.uk/baking with kids. A little bit of background on Raki. Raki is from Thornton Heath in Croydon and the daughter of the former South Area Chairman, Dhirubhai Ketsi Lakman. She has been cooking with her children from a very young age to get them involved and try new things. Since the lockdown, she has shared her experience and recipes online with families and friends with similar cook-alongs, and following positive feedback has continued. So today, without further ado, let's get baking with Raki. Raki, I think you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, right. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you want to try that, Jai Jinendra? No. Okay, Jai Shinendra everybody and namaste everyone. Thank you for joining us for this live baking session. Today we're making chocolate brownies. They are, as Rajesh said, they are really healthy. There is no flour and there's no sugar. And they're so super quick to make. I often make these for my children's snacks because they're, I mean, I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but they're constantly asking for snacks. And it's really nice because they're healthy and it's better than just, you know, giving them something that you've bought from the shop. So, shall we get started? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to start off by explaining to you what's in our recipe today. So we're going to go with 2 cups of dates. So I normally use, with my children, I often use these normal, what cup is this? Is it a tea cup or coffee cup? Is it mummy's coffee cup? Yeah. It's mummy's coffee cup. So I've got pitted dates here. Hold on, we're going to pop them in a minute, but we just need to explain to everybody what we need. So we need 2 cups of dates. We need half a cup of warm water, which I've already got ready. Yeah, we are going to use more dates. I've got half a cup of warm water here. And then we're going to use half a cup of smooth peanut butter. So I've got some peanut butter that I get from here, and whichever brand that you're used to, you can use. We are going to put them in, and then we're going to turn this on, and it's going to go. Yeah. Then you need 2 cups of coconut oil. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, not cups. You need 1/3 cup of cacao powder. I love this brand. I often use it, and when I'm back in the UK, I do tend to buy loads of this stuff because we love it. And then it's just, I said 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, but you know, you can use like a handful, and you know, you don't really have to use this if you're sort of mindful of giving your children chocolate. It's only a handful, so I tend to just go with it. So we're going to get started. Aaron, are we ready to put our dates in? Yeah. Okay, so you will need a food processor or a blender that's able to chop up these dates to a really nice fine paste. If you tend to use dates that are dry, you may want to soak them. Obviously, for the purpose of this demonstration, we're not going to soak them because you tend to, you'd want to soak them for half an hour. Aaron, stop that. Okay, so should we open this? Yeah. And should we put these in there? Yeah. All right, so we're going to do 2 cups of dates. You put it in like this because hold on, Aaron, let me open this and then you can pop that in. Now, when you're baking, do you want to put that in? Yeah. When you're cooking or baking with kids, my advice would be have lots of time and a lot of patience because things tend to take a little bit longer. And what you find is that the mess can be a bit hard to digest. So we're going to put another cup. Right, let's pop that in. Right, there we go. Okay, so do you want to pop that in? So we've got our pitted dates in there. I'm just going to move that around. Right, so thank you. Right, we're going to put some water in now, Aaron. Do you want to pour that in? Yeah. Be careful. I'm going to help you because it's warm, okay? Very good. Good job. Okay, so we've got half a cup of warm water. I'm just going to pop the lid on and whiz that around. So wait a minute, Aaron. Let me just click that in place. That one goes in, yes. So we're going to turn on our, right, are you ready to turn the button? Yeah. So we're just, sorry for the noise, we're going to whisk that round and it's going to be like a paste. Yep, press it again. Okay. Let's see. So you want it to be almost like a paste consistency. So ours is still not ready yet. Right, I'm going to unplug just in case. They don't switch on when you've taken the lid off anyway, which is really good, but can never be too sure. Right, should we show everybody what it looks like? So I hope you can see that. It's just going to fall off my spoon, my spatula, It's a little bit lumpy still, but we're still going to whiz with the other ingredients anyway. Do you want to have a look as well? No. No? Okay, so it's chopped them up nicely and it's quite mushy. It's almost like a date syrup. So now I'm going to put it, okay. So is it good? Yeah. Yeah? All right, so let's put the other things in. So we're going to put in now our ½ cup of peanut butter. So my jar is already half full. So this for me is already ½ cup. So I'm going to just go ahead and put that. Do you want to spoon this out or do you want me to do it? Me. You do it? Okay, be careful, don't fall down. Right. You want to use a spoon? No. No? Mommy. Okay, Mummy do it. You want to press the button, don't you? Okay, I hope everyone's okay. If anyone's got any questions, please do stop us. But I'm going to pour in ½ of my cup of peanut butter. Okay. Now these brownies will make you about 12 to 14 little squares. They are quite indulgent because of the dates. So you don't really want to go for a big slice anyway. And they taste so good with a vanilla yogurt. What do we eat our brownies with, Aaron? It tastes really good with the vanilla yogurt or like a vanilla. All right, a little bit more. Good boy. You stopped it? Okay, so we just wanted to incorporate all of that and it's now going to look a little bit thicker. So you can see there, it's not actually dropping. You can press it again in a minute when we turn it on. So it's not falling off my spoon anymore. So it's just really nice and thick. So now we're going to pop in our, do you want to have a look? Yeah, right. Is it mixing? And when it comes to cooking and baking with kids, you really need to just let them just get on with it. So we're going to go in, he's used all my spoons. So we're going to pop in our, oh, Aaron. So see what I mean about the mess? You just got to go with it. Okay, so now Aaron, we're going to put this in. Let's put this spoon over here. And should we put in our 2 tablespoons of coconut oil here? You want to do that? You want to put that in? No, you don't want to. Mummy do it? Okay, shake, shake, shake. Okay. That's ice. It looks like ice, doesn't it? Iceberg. Is it an iceberg? Okay. He thinks it's an iceberg. Okay. So I'm just going to grab some kitchen roll. Now we're going to whiz that around again. We're almost done, by the way. Obviously, when you're demonstrating, it takes a lot longer than it would if you're just doing it. Right, hang on, 1 minute, turn it off. Wait, turn it off. That's the off button. Wait for Mummy to say. Good job, Aaron. All right, good listening. Okay, so that is so far most of our ingredients. And now we're going to pop in our cacao powder. So it's 1/3 cup. Now, I don't know about you, but when you do this so often, I do tend to stop. I tend to stop measuring. So I'm just going to freestyle, but it's 1/3 cup. Okay. Oh, look at that. Does that look nice? Yeah. So I've got my 1/3 cup of cacao powder in there. We're going to make it into brownies and then you are going to eat it. Okay, ready to wait for Mummy. Is it off? Okay, leave it there, good boy. Now when I say go, go. I'm going to whiz it around again. Go. Whiz it, whiz it. Wow, that looks good. Bit more, a little bit more. Okay, stop. Okay, so that is now fully combined. Now I'm just going to show you what it looks like. The colour is perfect. That is brownie, and we're going to bake it. The colour is perfect. The consistency is perfect. You want to lick it? Right, let me give you a little spoon. That's okay. Hold on, let's get you a little spoon. You can try it. It's not gachel, so you can actually, you know, give it a little taste. It might be a bit too bitter. I don't like it. You don't like it because it's not cooked. It's not cooked. Okay, so now we're going to move this out of the way. And we're going to get our, so I'm just using a ceramic rectangular dish with some parchment paper on there, which I'm gonna pour the batter into, and literally, just move this, because this might be in the way, there we go. So I'm just going to pour the batter into this. You're falling down, okay, quick, don't fall down. Right, so I'm going to pour this batter. Now, this is the bit that obviously the children might find tricky. You've got the blade in there. You want to just pour the batter. Don't fall down, Aaron. Don't fall down. And you just want to even out your batter. You're falling down? Yeah. Save you? Yeah. Mommy can't save you. You have to save me. You're meant to be helping me. Help me! Yeah, but you help me, Aaron. Okay, so once this is all in, oh, you can't reach me. Shall I help you? Yeah. Okay, just give me a second then. Help you. Yeah. Right, if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask away. You can't carry, of course you can't carry me. Mummy's too big. I can't catch you. You can't catch me? No. So this is what I mean by when you're cooking and baking with children, it is really unpredictable what they get up to. Oh, you got me? And you just have to go with it. Did you get me? Yeah. Okay, 1 minute, let me move you. Shall I move you closer to me? Yes. Does that smell? And do you know, if you're cooking this, shall I get you? If you're making this with us, I mean, the smell is just amazing. Hold on, Aaron, move your hand. Thank you. Good listening. Right. The smell is so good. It smells so appetizing already. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I've just put all that batter in, and I'm just going to smooth it out, and literally that's it. We're going to pop on our chocolate chips on top. That's how I do it. You can actually squeeze them through in between as well. Okay, you want to take the apron off? Yeah. Okay, I'll take it off for you. Come over here and Mummy will take it off. Okay, so I'm just going to use the back of my spoon to try and smooth it out a bit and spread the batter as much as you can. Mommy. Help you. Mommy. But this, we have to put the chocolate chips in now. Take it off. Okay, we have to put the chocolate chips in. Do you want to put the chocolate chips in for Mummy? Look, these ones here. No. You want to sprinkle them on? No. Yeah? Yeah. Or Mummy do it. So I'm just, as I said, 1/3 cup is about a handful. Yeah, come on then, let's get some more. Come over to Mummy, hold on. Good boy. Right, let's get some of these. Okay, and then we're just going to pop them on top. You can hide them, but I do like the look of the brownies with some chocolate chips on top. They taste good when you bite into one of those. And you know what, this is it. Then all you want to do is pop them in the oven for 20 minutes. So, it's a really easy, really simple recipe. You don't have to cut them into like square portions. You can cut them into little mini bites. You can even cut them into little mini bites or even smaller than that, little chunks, and put them into your children's porridge, your children's breakfast in the morning, or as I said, you can give it to the children as a snack. It's really, really simple. So Aaron, hey, how are you doing? Should I help you a little bit?
No, Mummy.
No?
No.
Okay, so once the chocolate chips have gone in, you want to pop it in the oven for 20 minutes at 180 degrees. So if anyone's got any questions about anything to do with this, please do ask away. Oh, are you hiding them? Are you hiding them inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, quickly, because we need to now put these in the oven. They've got to go in the oven for 20 minutes and we want to eat them, don't we? Okay. Last bit. Okay. I'm going to show. Let's show everybody on the computer. Do you want to put those in? Yeah. You can save some for you. Yeah. I just want to show everybody what it looks like. Yeah. Good job. Well done. So there you go. That's what it looks like. I hope everybody can see it. And we're still putting chocolate chips in. And this is what I was saying earlier, that you need a little bit more time when you're cooking or baking with the children, because they're a little bit slower, but they, things can be a little bit unpredictable as well when it comes to cooking with them. So, Aaron, should we put them in the oven now?
No, no.
Oh, you're not finished yet? Okay. Okay, we're almost there. Right, let's clean your... You're not finished?
No.
Oh, I missed that bit. I didn't see those. Why don't you eat that one? Would you like to eat that one? You want to eat that one? Yeah, let's clean your hands. Right, I'm going to pop this in the oven. So as I said, it's going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. I'm just going to pop that in. Okay. How is it? Was it nice? Okay, let's keep an eye on the time, Aaron. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, that's the end of our baking. We're just going to wait for 20 minutes for it to come out of the oven. And I don't know if Rajesh or anyone wants to say anything while we're waiting, but I've, as I said, I've been cooking and baking with my kids from such a young age, and I think it's a great way to get them involved, try different flavors, experiment with a range of flavors and textures. And I know that from talking to a lot of my mummy friends, people often have trouble with fussy eating. And don't get me wrong, I've also experienced this quite a few times, especially with him. We did go through a phase when he wasn't really eating fruit, but I think we've cracked it. So I think one of the things that's my machine. That's my machine that we just use to make. Right, should we go and should you want to go into the other room now? No.
Mommy,
Okay, go. All right, go and get it for Mummy, and I'll turn it on for you, so I can talk to everybody. Okay, go and get it for Mummy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, then we have to wait. Then you have to wait. Aaron, you said no, but look. Do you want to go to the party? We're going to go to a party today, aren't we? So yeah, so I often try and get them involved as much as possible, from things like sweet things to savoury things. You want to go to the party? Okay, go and get the iPad for Mummy then.
No, Mommy.
No, we're not going yet. We have to finish making this brownies. We have to take them out the oven. Who's going to take it out the oven if Mummy doesn't do it?
Papa.
Papa's at the party. So yeah, so I often find that the more exposure children have. What's your favourite? What's your favourite? Do you like the cookies that Mummy made? You like ice cream. So I've been indulging them in ice cream quite a bit as well, and I've made quite a lot of homemade ice cream without any sugar, or with coconut milk.
Mommy, get it.
Get what?
My iPad.
You go and get. You go and get it. And
No,
I'm
mommy.
you go and get it. Mummy will turn it on
No,
for you.
mommy.
Okay. Okay. So I will just be back in 1 second. I'm just going to allow him to watch a bit of iPad while I can carry on talking to you. So if you want to chip in, Rajesh or Ashish Bhai, I'll be back in 1 second. Come on, quickly. Quickly. Oh, did you just do that? Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So yeah, so when it comes to cooking and baking with children, I often find that, you know, there might be a point where I have to let them just go off and either play or watch a bit of TV or something so I can wrap up and finish up what I'm doing. Otherwise, the whole recipe that we've started making could go, you know, totally wrong. So yeah, so basically, as I was saying, one of the biggest reasons why I've, you know, sort of started this whole cooking and baking with children is because I often find that when you expose your children to the ingredients, the raw ingredients, and get them cutting or chopping or feeling it and mixing, you know, they will 99% of the time, they will often try it, and more so they will probably eat it. And I have a lot of friends who say, how do you get your children to eat this? How do you get your children to eat that? And, you know, I think it's because I don't force them to eat anything. I do tend to kind of offer it multiple times. So as I was saying about the fruit, I find that with Aaron, he didn't really take to fruit that often, and we were really struggling. And so I just kept offering it, and I kept saying to him, would you like this? Would you like that? And he'd often say no, or in fact spit it out. But what I didn't do is I didn't force him, and we've just seemed to have had a breakthrough. He's got quite a few fruits that he's now eating, which I'm really pleased about. But at the very beginning, that was quite a difficult one for me. So yeah, so you know, when it comes to like trying to get your kids to eat and eat well, modeling the behavior is also really good. Like if parents are eating those kind of foods quite often in front of the children, that's also quite a good thing. And then obviously, if you are going to experiment with new things, I'd often say front load, which basically means, you know, try it in the morning or at lunch, but don't offer something new in the afternoon or the evening, because you know, if there's any sort of adverse reaction, it is going to kind of stop them from sleeping very well or affect their sleep. So yeah, so you know, at the end of the day, it's worked for me, and what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but I can only just say that these are the things that I've tried, and I found them quite helpful. And I've, you know, luckily I'm able to share these things with my friends and on my social media. So you know, it is something that I'm enjoying doing, and I love seeing what people, you know, what their reaction is and if they've tried anything that I've suggested. So yeah, on that note, I don't know if anyone's got any questions.
Raki, there's a couple of questions coming through.
Okay.
So alternatives, one on chocolate chips and one on peanut butter.
Okay, so you can use any nut butter. And actually, I should have mentioned that earlier because a few people asked me the question before. You could use any nut butter, so almond butter or any other nut butter that you're used to. I have not tried this particular recipe with just normal dairy butter. I can't see why it wouldn't work. Except I would say that you'd probably need to use less than the recommendation on the recipe, because normal butter is quite greasy and quite dense compared to, I'd say, peanut butter. Any other questions?
So some alternatives on the chocolate chips.
Oh yeah, chocolate chips. So you don't have to put the chocolate chips in. As I said earlier, that, you know, some parents might be reluctant to giving their children chocolate chips. You can get dark chocolate, like really good a normal bar of dark chocolate, which is, I would say, 95% cacao. And I would say that would be a good substitute if you're conscious about giving your children chocolate chips that you get. Like this is clearly, you know, just the standard baking chocolate chips. It's milk chocolate, it's got sugar in it. But I would say that, you know, if you are very, very, you know, if you're cautious about using that, just get a normal bar of 95% cacao and just smash it up with a, I don't know, a venom or a pestle and mortar. That would work fine. Or you could just leave it out, leave that step out. You don't have to have the chocolate chips in there.
So I was following as well, and we used cacao nibs.
Okay, that's a good one. Yes, I struggle to get because I'm still, you know, being in Zurich, I'm still trying to figure out what I can get, where I can get it from. And when I go to the supermarket, obviously everything where we are in Zurich, everything's in German, and I can't. It's not always practical for me to pull out on my phone and do Google Translate, so I can't always find the things that I need. But cacao nibs are also a very good alternative as well. How's yours looking?
It's good. I think it's gone in the oven.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
So if anyone watching wants to ask any questions, please post on the YouTube chat. So one's just come in. How many grams of dates would it be roughly?
Okay, so that's a good question. And actually, I'm very fortunate that I've used, so this is 200-gram packet that all of this went straight into 1 cup. So it's roughly 400 grams is what you want from your dates if you're following things, measuring. When I do these cooking demonstrations, from feedback that I've received where, you know, people are really busy and they just want to be able to whip out a mug and just do that rather than pull out your scales. I often find that, you know, mug measurements can be easier to follow, but as I said, it would be about 400 grams. I'm also looking down to see if there's any questions that I've missed on the YouTube. I can't see anything. You can use almond butter, we just mentioned that. And how many grams? Okay. Okay. So how are we doing for time? I think mine's probably got another 10 minutes. If anyone's got any questions about, you know, cooking with children in general or food. So I said earlier, I don't know if I said it to you guys earlier, I often cook with when I do demonstrations, I have both of them with me, but my older one has gone to a party. So he's my star of the show. He would often it would be quite a smooth process with him. With my younger one, it can be hit and miss because he's a little bit younger. He's just turned 3. And he doesn't fully understand that, you know, we are actually demonstrating, whereas my older one, he's 5, so he's a little bit more complying when I tell him to do something. But actually, having said that, he wasn't too bad.
So there was one other question. What other flavors have you tried? I'm not sure what that refers to.
Flavors of brownies?
Yeah, it's just what other flavors have you tried? Maybe if the person who posted that question, if you can elaborate,
yeah.
Nita Shah.
Okay.
Any serving suggestions?
Maybe I could try and answer, but yeah, if we can have some elaboration on that question, that'd be good. I often, from a personal point of view, I love chocolate and orange. So if you wanted to like grate in some orange zest or even lemon, that could work if you like that. And you could put in a few other nuts. If, you know, nuts is not a problem for you, obviously this recipe would be great. If it's a problem, then this recipe wouldn't work because it's got peanut butter, or if you're using an alternative, then it would be like almond butter or cashew butter. But if you're happy with the nuts, you could put in some pistachios, you could put some walnuts, like pieces of those different nuts. And I think that would also actually be quite tasty and something worth experimenting with. I promise you, if you try this recipe once, I know Rajesh, you've already eaten this recipe. If you try this recipe once, I promise you, you will make it again and again and again because it is so delicious. And I'm not just saying it because I'm doing it. Just try it for yourself and give it a go. It's super healthy, and you know, you can offer it to your children, or you can take it over to some. It's so quick as well. You can take it over for when lockdown situation changes and you're going over for someone's a dinner party or something. You can take it over to people. It's a really nice one, and it's so easy and quick.
So a few questions coming in. Any serving suggestions with this?
Okay, so you saw, I'm going to just pull out another tray so you can have a look at the tray that I used. So this is the size of my tray. So, you know, you sort of cut that way and that way. I would suggest that, you know, you want to go for mini squares rather than the larger traditional squares that you would get in you know, traditional brownie recipe, purely because when you try it, you'll realize how it's really indulgent and very decadent. So you just want to like have a little bite. It's enough to satisfy your sweet tooth, or just to give you that bit of a chocolate fix if that's, you know, if that's something that you need. So I would say that, you know, you want to go for sort of those sort of size squares, like really, really tiny squares, with some vanilla ice cream or some vanilla yogurt. I often give it to my children with vanilla yogurt because you kind of need some sort of a creamy, milky something to go with it. And if you're plant-based, and you know, some of my, as I mentioned earlier, the ice cream that I've been making, it is plant-based, and I've been using coconut milk, so you can make your own coconut vanilla ice cream to go with it, and it's super easy.
So another question coming in, is it possible to add cranberries, raisins, flax seeds, chia to this?
Yes, I would say you could probably add in cranberries. Now, if you were to go for cranberries, I always find that cranberry and white chocolate are like a marriage made in heaven. So if you are going to try the cranberries, you know, and you want to, you know, experiment, definitely you can do cranberries. You could do raisins, definitely. What was the other one? Flax seeds and chia. I think you could try the chia, and the flax seeds is just ground. Well, if you're using a ground flax seed, you know, it's just ground seeds. So yes, you could probably throw in about a tablespoon or two of that, and that would be absolutely fine. You wouldn't really notice a massive difference because it would all be mixed together. If you're going for chia, you'll find there's a slight crunch to the actual brownie, and sometimes that's quite nice. I quite like that. So you might want to try chia seeds, definitely. And there's so many great benefits to flax seeds and chia seeds, and as a vegetarian, you know, those are my go-to things because they've got good healthy fats, and if you're trying to, you know, make sure that your family is having a balanced diet, those are the go-to things that I, you know, they're the things that we consume on a daily basis. Okay, so
how long will it keep? And does it have to go in the fridge or?
Yeah, so once it's baked in the oven, just gonna keep an eye on the time. Once it's baked in the oven, you want to let it cool down on a cooling rack. So I've got my cooling rack ready here. So you want to cut it into pieces, pop it onto your cooling rack. If you're eating it straight away, you often want these brownies to be warm. So you might want to let it cool down for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then consume one or two, whatever you're serving up. And the rest of them, you pop them into, once they've completely cooled through, you pop them into an airtight container and pop them in the fridge. When you take them out, you can actually reheat them ever so slightly in the microwave or in the oven if you want to do that in the oven, and then you can have them as you would like a warm brownie, but you can actually have them cold. And I have had them cold in, as I said, with some vanilla and some vanilla yogurt, sorry, and some other fruit. I've had it with like papaya, mango, a mixture of fruit and little chunks of this of the brownie. They will keep in the fridge for up to a week in an airtight container, but I promise you they will not last. They will not last a week. So you can try, but they will keep up to a week.
So a technical question. Somebody's from Mitesh Shah is following a low carb, low calorie diet. Do you know what the calorie count of this dish is, or?
You know what, I'm not a nutritionist, so unfortunately I wouldn't be able to give you that, but I know that when I have used apps like MyFitnessPal and you pop in all the ingredients, and there are very few ingredients as you've seen, it's just the cacao, the peanut butter, the coconut oil and the chocolate chips if you're using it, and the dates. If you put in the quantities and the amounts and obviously the brand, then it will calculate it for you. But unfortunately, that's a very good question. I wish I knew that, but I don't. Okay, so I think I'm just going to have a quick check on my brownies and see how they're coming along. Okay, so mine are pretty much ready. I'm just going to pop those out. Make sure I've got a mat here. So when you take them out, can you see they are still going to be soft. They will harden and get tougher ever so slightly once they are cut and they've cooled down. So I'm just going to grab a knife so I can cut them up and then pop them out. Be very careful because it's obviously very, very hot, but they are really soft. So soft to the point that you might actually think that they're not cooked, but trust me, you're not putting in any real raw ingredients in there, so they should be fine. So the way I've cut mine, I've actually got 12 pieces. So I'm just going to get another little spatula thing. Pop mine out. So for demonstration purposes, I'm taking them out, but what you want to do is leave them in your tray for about 10 minutes and let them slightly cool down in your tray before you take them out. And I just want to show you what they look like. I'm just going to try and pop one onto here. Can you see that? Can you see that? So you just want to pop them onto your cooling rack for, you know, as I said, half an hour, 45 minutes to allow to cool down completely before you consume them. So yeah, and that's how you make chocolate chip brownies with no flour, no refined sugar, unless obviously you're using the baking chocolate. But as I said earlier, you can use dark chocolate or completely just leave out that step altogether. So Rajesh, that concludes our baking session. Unless anyone's got any last questions.
Some positive comments. They look mouth-watering.
Yes, trust me, if you try them, they really are. My kids are going to be really happy. And also, I just want to say, the other thing is that they are gluten-free. My husband was diagnosed with celiac in 2018, which is quite late in life to be diagnosed with something like that. You know, I've been experimenting a lot with celiac-friendly treats. He hasn't got a sweet tooth, but often, once in a blue moon, he'll be like, he fancies a bit of chocolate cake or something. So these are completely celiac friendly if you know, or if you are celiac, or if you've got a gluten intolerance, because a lot of people are having this issue. These are completely gluten free and celiac friendly.
Okay, thank you, Raki, for sharing your recipe and for taking us through how to make this. I certainly enjoyed making this with you. I normally have them as a snack during the working day rather than, you know, chocolate or something else as a healthy option. So certainly looking forward to that this week.
Brilliant, I'm glad. Thank you for having me.
On behalf of Oshwell, yeah, thank you very much. And we hope to see you again here soon with another one of your recipes.
I'd love to. Thank you very much.